Yeah, every day at football practice, I sit in the car. Everybody be like, get out the car. I hate it. I hate outside. I hate them fucking bugs. They should be making me itch. Like, I don't hate the people, but I hate the fucking people. Like, I don't know. I just don't like outside no more. Like, I don't know. I don't know why the fuck I became football mom, because I don't like outside. Hate outside. Really fucking bad. Like, really bad.
On July 13th, 2024, in the peaceful Echo Highlands neighborhood of Birmingham, Alabama, a day that seemed like any other quickly turned into an unimaginable tragedy. Arkia Berry, a 28-year-old hairstylist, was preparing for an important day in the life of her 5-year-old son, Landyn, who was about to start kindergarten. The excitement was in the air as they went about their morning routine, a mother and her son looking forward to this new chapter. That morning, Kia and her family, including her partner Eric Ashley Jr., were driving in their blue sedan. They were making their way through the neighborhood when suddenly something happened. The car they were in came into contact with another vehicle. Moments later, a series of events unfolded that no one could have anticipated. The police were called to the scene after receiving reports of a vehicle accident. When officers arrived, they discovered the blue sedan in the front yard of a residence. The car had multiple signs of damage, and inside, the officers found Kia, Landyn, and Eric. Tragically, their lives were lost in that moment. An investigation immediately began to uncover what had happened. Authorities found that there was an interaction between the two vehicles before the incident occurred. The police worked tirelessly to gather any possible evidence, including surveillance footage and any information from the community that could shed light on what led to the tragic events. Despite efforts to piece together the events, the full picture remained unclear. The police were determined to find out the truth and were dedicated to answering the many questions that hung over the case. In the following months, the community held on to hope for justice as the investigation continued. In February 2025, there was a breakthrough. The Birmingham police arrested a 25-year-old man, Jacory McGregor, in connection with the incident. He was charged with capital murder and was held in custody as the investigation moved forward. While this arrest brought some progress, the full story of what led to that tragic day was still being unraveled. The mystery of what happened that day in Echo Highlands remains a chapter of the community's history, one that will forever be marked by the loss of a mother, a young child, and a partner. The investigation continues, and the hope for justice persists. If you're captivated by our true crime stories but haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. By subscribing, you're not just supporting our channel. You're helping shed light on real cases, spread awareness, and keep these important stories alive. Join our community and be part of the conversation that matters. Before we begin, drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? What are your thoughts as this story unfolds? Because your voice matters. These are real lives, real tragedies, and real lessons that we can't afford to ignore. Welcome to True Crime Tales, where we uncover the stories that lurk in the shadows, the crimes that shake communities, the betrayals no one saw coming, and the horrifying truths hidden behind closed doors. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the twists, the revelations, and the chilling reality of the cases we bring to you every day. Now, let's begin. Arkia Berry was 28 years old and lived in a peaceful neighborhood in Center Point. She worked as a hairstylist, making people look beautiful by styling their hair. Kia was known for being very friendly and hardworking. She always took care of her clients and made sure they were happy with her work. Kia had one main priority in life, her son Landyn. He was the most important person to her. Kia worked hard to give Landyn a good life, and she dreamed of watching him grow up and go to school. She was a very loving mother who would do anything for her son. No matter how busy she was with her hairstyling work, she always made sure to spend time with him, making sure he was happy and well taken care of. Kia had a partner named Eric Ashley Jr. He was 28 years old, just like Kia, and they shared many dreams together. They both hoped to build a happy family and future. Eric and Kia were very close. They supported each other and worked together to take care of Landyn. Eric was more than just a partner to Kia. He was also a father figure to Landyn. Landyn Brooks was Kia's 5-year-old son. He was a very curious and energetic little boy, full of excitement about the world around him. Landyn was about to start kindergarten, which is a big step for any young child. Like many children, Landyn loved to play with his toys, ask questions, and run around. He had a bright, innocent smile and was always asking why things happened the way they did. He was always curious about the world and wanted to learn new things. Landyn was looking forward to starting school. He was excited about meeting new friends and learning new things. His whole life was ahead of him, and he was full of dreams. Landyn's days were filled with laughter and joy. He would spend his time playing games, asking his mother about everything he saw, and just enjoying being a child. He was very innocent and full of life, always smiling and laughing with the people he loved. Eric Ashley Jr. was Kia's partner. He was 28 years old and from Hoover. Eric was a responsible and loving man. He worked hard to support his family and was very committed to taking care of Kia and Landyn. Eric was more than just a partner to Kia. He was a father figure to Landyn. He treated Landyn like his own son and was always there to help and support him. Eric shared Kia's dreams of building a happy and successful life for their little family. He and Kia worked together to create a peaceful and loving home, and Eric was always there to make sure everything was going well. Eric was a caring and kind person. He was known for his strong work ethic and how much he loved his family. He always wanted to make sure that Kia and Landyn were happy and well taken care of. Together, Kia and Eric made plans for the future, hoping to enjoy many years of happiness and family life. Eric's love for Kia and Landyn was clear in everything he did. Kia was a loving mother who worked hard as a hairstylist and dreamed of seeing her son, Landyn, grow up. Landyn, a 5-year-old boy, was full of energy and excitement, looking forward to starting kindergarten and experiencing the world. Eric, Kia's partner, was a responsible and loving father figure to Landyn. Together, they hoped to build a happy future as a family. These three people, Kia, Landyn, and Eric, were a family filled with love, dreams, and happiness. They had big plans for the future, and they all cared deeply for each other. On July 13th, 2024, something terrible happened in a small neighborhood in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 people, who were very loved and known by many, were found in a vehicle. The people were Arkia Kia Berry, her 5-year-old son Landyn Brooks, and her partner, Eric Ashley Jr. Unfortunately, they had all passed away. The police and everyone who knew them had no idea what caused this to happen. It was a very confusing and sad event. Kia was a 28-year-old hairstylist. She was known for her kind and caring personality. She worked hard every day, making people look their best by styling their hair. Kia was also a devoted mother to her son, Landyn. Landyn was only 5 years old, and he was about to start kindergarten. He was so excited about school and loved playing with his toys. Kia loved him very much and always made sure he was happy and safe. Eric Ashley Jr. was 28 years old, and he was Kia's partner. He was a kind and responsible man who worked hard for his family. Eric cared for Kia and Landyn deeply. He was always there for them, helping and supporting them in every way he could. Together, they made a family that everyone in the neighborhood admired. But on that terrible day in July, something went wrong. The police found Kia, Landyn, and Eric in a car. They were all gone. No one could understand why or how it happened. There were no signs of danger or warning. There were no clues to show what had caused this awful event. Everything seemed so normal before that day. The family had been happy, with plans for the future. They had no reason to think that anything would go wrong. People in the neighborhood were shocked and confused. Kia had many friends. She was loved by her clients and everyone who knew her. Eric was also well-liked, and Landyn was just a young boy who brought joy to everyone around him. The neighbors couldn't understand why something like this could happen to such a nice family. There was no reason to think that anything bad would happen to them. Everything seemed perfect in their lives. So why did they have to go? The police started investigating what had happened. They wanted to find out who was responsible and why this tragic event occurred. They gathered evidence and tried to figure out the cause, but nothing made sense. It was like the family had just vanished from their peaceful life without any warning. The community was left with more questions than answers. The authorities worked hard to find the truth, but still, no one knew exactly what happened that day. Some people thought it might have been an accident, but others believed there was more to the story. The police didn't have all the answers, and they continued searching for clues. The family's loved ones were left waiting for the truth to come to light. Everyone wanted to know why such a terrible thing had happened, but there were no clear answers. The people in the neighborhood tried to come together to support each other during this sad time. They remembered Kia, Landyn, and Eric as kind and caring people. But even though they shared their memories, they still couldn't understand why something so horrible had happened. It was as if the family had been taken away from them for no reason at all. Their lives were full of love and happiness. So how could something so terrible happen to them? As the investigation continued, the mystery of what happened that day still remained. People kept wondering, why did this happen to such a happy family? Everyone hoped that the truth would eventually be discovered and that justice would be done. Why do you think something like this could happen to a family that seemed so happy? After the tragic event that took the lives of Arkia Kia Berry, her son Landyn Brooks, and her partner Eric Ashley Jr., the police quickly started their investigation. The authorities knew they had to find out what happened and why this happened to such a loving family. The first thing the police did was look around the area where the tragedy happened. They wanted to find any clues that might explain what led to the loss of these 3 lives. The police examined everything carefully. They looked at the car where the victims were found, the surroundings, and even talked to people who might have seen anything unusual that day. They checked for any signs of struggle, any evidence that could give them a hint about what happened. But the police quickly realized that there were no clear answers. There were no obvious clues that explained why this happened. There was no sign of a car accident, no strange marks on the car, and no obvious reason for the tragedy. It was as if the answers had vanished, and the investigation was not as easy as the police had hoped. One question that the police asked was it a tragic accident? Could this have been something that just happened by chance? Maybe something went wrong, like a car malfunction or an unexpected problem. But after checking everything carefully, the police did not find any evidence of an accident. The car was not in a position that suggested it was a crash. There were no signs that anything had gone wrong in the usual way that accidents happen. The next question the police asked was there something more sinister behind this? Could there have been someone who hurt them on purpose? Was there a hidden reason for what happened? Was this a case of violence or something else that caused such a tragedy? But again, the police had no clear answers. There was no sign of a fight or violence in the usual sense. The bodies were found in the car, and there were no signs that someone had been attacked. The police also checked the background of Arkia, Landyn, and Eric. They wanted to know if anyone close to them might have had a reason to harm them, but they found nothing. Kia was a hairstylist who worked hard to take care of her son, Landyn, and her partner, Eric. Eric was known to be a loving father and partner. Landyn, at just 5 years old, was too young to be involved in anything dangerous. The family seemed happy and peaceful, with no known enemies or problems. This made the investigation even more puzzling. The police also talked to the people in the neighborhood. They asked if anyone had seen anything strange or unusual around the time of the incident. But no one had seen anything that could help. No one had seen anything that would explain the tragedy. The police continued to search for more clues, hoping something would show up that would lead them to the truth. As the days passed, the investigation became more complicated. The police had many questions but very few answers. They kept searching, hoping that something would come to light that could explain what happened. They worked hard to put together all the pieces of the puzzle, but many pieces were still missing. The question remained, what really happened to Arkia, Landyn, and Eric? Was it just an accident, or was there something more to the story? What kind of questions would you ask if you were a detective working on this case? Would you want to know if anyone knew something about the family that could explain the tragedy? Would you try to find out if there were any signs that something was wrong, even if no one saw it? Would you look for hidden messages or clues that might not be obvious? The investigation is still ongoing, and the police continue to work hard to find the answers. Everyone is hoping that one day they will find the truth and bring justice to Kia, Landyn, and Eric. Until then, the mystery remains unsolved, and many questions still hang in the air, waiting for the answers that are yet to come. Neighbors who had known Kia and Eric for years couldn't believe it. They had watched Landyn grow up, and it was hard to imagine how a tragedy like this could happen in their peaceful neighborhood. Everyone was deeply upset. People gathered around, talking in small groups, trying to understand what had happened. Some couldn't stop thinking about Landyn, the little boy who had so much life ahead of him, and how he would never get the chance to go to kindergarten, make friends, or grow up. The news about the tragedy spread quickly. It wasn't just the people who lived on the same street who were affected, but everyone in the area. Kia, Eric, and Landyn were loved by so many. People who had only met them once couldn't believe that something so terrible could happen to such good people. It was hard for anyone to understand why, or how this could happen. The community felt lost, and they needed answers. At the same time, people were trying to support one another. Everyone wanted to help, but no one really knew what to do. Some people sent their thoughts and prayers to Kia's family. Others came together to talk about what had happened and to offer support to those who were struggling. The community knew that something had to be done, but no one knew where to start. After the incident, the neighborhood became quieter. People started to stay inside more, unsure what was going to happen next. The normal sounds of children playing and people chatting in the streets seemed to disappear. It felt like the sadness had taken over, and no one could bring back the peace that had once filled the area. The local authorities began investigating, trying to find answers. But in the meantime, the neighborhood was left to cope with the loss. Everyone wanted to know why this happened and who was responsible, but most of all, they wanted to make sure something like this would never happen again. How would you feel if something like this happened in your community? What would you do to help? The impact of such a tragedy is something that no one is ever truly prepared for. It affects not just the families involved, but everyone who knew them, everyone who cared. The community in Center Point will never forget Kia, Landyn, and Eric, and they will always remember how the loss of such a loving family brought everyone closer together. The investigation went on, and the community continued to wait. The police did everything they could, but they didn't have all the answers yet. Many people hoped that one day they would find out the truth. They hoped that the police would catch the person or people who were responsible for what happened. They believed that justice would be served and that the truth would come out in the end. Everyone wanted to know what happened next. Would the police find the answers? Would the people who did this face the consequences of their actions? The community was still waiting for the police to find the truth. As time passed, the investigation became more focused. The police started looking at people who had connections to Kia and Eric. They were determined to find the person who could have hurt them. The police were following every lead, no matter how small. They knew that even the tiniest clue could help them solve the mystery. They were not giving up. They would keep searching until they found the answers. Do you think justice will be served? What do you think should happen next in this story? The investigation is far from over, and the search for answers continues. The police are still looking for the person who caused this terrible tragedy. The community remains hopeful that the truth will come out and that the family's memory will be honored. Everyone is waiting, hoping, and wondering. Will justice be served? What will happen next? Only time will tell, but the investigation will keep going until the truth is finally revealed. The story of Kia, Landyn, and Eric is truly heartbreaking. It's a tragedy that has left many questions and a lot of sadness in its wake. But as we reflect on their lives, we can also learn some important lessons. First, we are reminded to always appreciate the people we love. Life can change in an instant, and sometimes things happen that we don't expect. One moment, everything seems normal, and the next, everything can change. This reminds us to cherish every moment we have with the people we care about. Kia was a hard-working mother, full of love for her son Landyn. She dreamed of a happy life for her family. Eric, her partner, was someone who shared in these dreams. And little Landyn, full of life and excitement for kindergarten, had his whole future ahead of him. Their story reminds us that life is precious, and we should never take it for granted. Even though Kia, Landyn, and Eric's story ended in such a tragic way, we can honor their memories by continuing to search for answers. It's important to keep asking questions, stand up for what's right, and make sure justice is served. Their lives, though cut short, still have meaning. By seeking the truth and standing for what's right, we ensure that their story lives on in a way that matters. In the end, this story teaches us to hold our loved ones close, to value every moment, and to never stop searching for truth, no matter how difficult it may be. Their memories should inspire us to be kinder, more loving, and more thoughtful in the way we live our lives. Life is fragile, and we never know what tomorrow will bring, but we can make sure we appreciate today. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.